Welcome to the League. Hi, welcome to another episode of The League, a DBNC business talk show where bold ideas meet bottom lines and doing business in Nigeria moves from potential to playbook. I am Coach Linda Uneze, your host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chioma Mbanogo. Hi, Chioma.
Hi, Linda. How are you doing?
I'm great, and you?
Great.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. You as well.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So today's episode will be exploring tourism and its attractiveness to the economy. And we have with us a very important personality, a serial entrepreneur, a business leader, a global leader, and the group CEO of Wakanow, Bayo Adedeji. Hi, Bayo.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you as well for coming.
Yeah, pleasure being here.
A lot of people call you the lion.
Can I call me Bayo Lion.
Bayo Lion, exactly. Bayo Lion.
Or the Bayo Lion.
The Bayo Lion.
Yeah.
What's behind the name?
I like the instinct of animals. The instinct of animals is they don't care about their surrounding when they are chasing something. They chase like their life depends on it, and when they miss, they turn around and walk away. And when they catch, they devour. And for me, I like that. And there was a particular incident, you don't want to know that story, where that was you became a lion, and I was like, so since then they kind of stuck. And there's another guy with the same name as the same name as me, that was way more influential. He passed on now. He's called Professor Bayo Adedeji. He was economic secretary to Commonwealth, and they still do inaugural lectures in his name. And every time he index on Google, I get a Google alert. I'm like, man, and he's dead, and it's still. So on Google, I wanted to rank well, so I adjusted my name a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, it does represent my spirit animal, and that's my approach to business and my approach to life. I don't do anything 10%. I don't do anything halfway. It's 100 or nothing.
100 or
it was
nothing.
exceed not 100. I don't even anything. Think about it. I don't do it halfway.
And you know what's interesting? I remember the first time I met you, we were on a panel together, and you made a bold statement. Do you remember that statement? I would not repeat it.
I make a lot of bold statements again. But because again, I tell people what I want to do because I'm going to do it. Whether I succeed or not to be determined, we're going to find out. But again, I'm not apologetic for my boldness because again, I believe that I was coming from another discussion today, and the guy that I was on the panel with said it, and I could not have said it better. He said, "Business is warfare," and that's how I see life. I think it's all war, and there's always winners and losers. People say, "Oh, there can be multiple winners." Yes. But you must be on my side to win, though.
I like that. I think it aligns with his personality, I mean, Bayo, you've worked with a lot of global organizations. You've worked across Amazon, Walmart, and now building a homegrown company, Wakanow. What was your first impression when you stepped into the tourism space in Nigeria, right? And what did that teach you about how people travel locally versus how people shop globally?
I moved to America in 2006. And I remember that, a couple of days ago, I wanted to send an email to someone to wish them happy birthday on LinkedIn. And I found that I emailed them in 2015 asking them to hire me to come back to Nigeria. In 2015, I think I was working at PetSmart at the time. If I remember vividly, PetSmart, or I was finishing up Amazon, I was finishing up Walmart, but I was emailing folks, and I'm sure if I check my email to find all the historic leaders in Nigeria, I was emailing them on LinkedIn. I say, "Guy, I can help. I have always been passionate about coming back to Nigeria from my early days in America. For me, America was a place to go learn, and I wanted to bring all that knowledge back. So I'm very emotional about Africa and Nigeria particularly. When I took over Wakanow, I remember that I was the one that, when Wakanow got investment, $50 million, I came with the investment. But I remember that while we're talking about the modalities of my coming and all, I flew to Nigeria. I brought my family, I brought my wife and my kids. We came to Nigeria, and I came to look at the business. And as I sat down, I remember walking the building, and I saw people sitting on top of themselves, literally. There was a file cabinet with papers everywhere, and there were rats running all over. I'm not even kidding you. And the more I saw that, the more love I felt. Like, I fell in love deeper and deeper and deeper. It was like I saw chaos, and I was willing to run into the fire to rescue it. So now, bringing that back into tourism and retail and the way people shop retail in Nigeria, it was the same story. Like, I came from a very organized environment where shopping was easy. People shop online, people pay with their cards, and everything was easy, right? The barrier of entry there is way higher because you need to be more organized, you need a payment partner, you need that. But in Nigeria, the barrier of entry is lower because most people don't even pay with their cards, right? People do transfer, or you need a bank account, or you can start to sell online on the website, literally. And for me, it's the see fire, see opportunity, see problem, see opportunity, see difficulty, see opportunity kind of scenario. It was the donut and the whole story where I saw the donuts where others saw the whole. And that's the story. And I came to Nigeria. Looking back, don't regret it. Very different, fundamentally different, but that's the opportunity. You know, as I was sitting down, waiting for you guys to get your makeup ready and all, because we're sending something to someone, I was looking at our yearly numbers. And as I was looking at the yearly numbers, the numbers that we've done over the last 5 years in Naira terms, and it was astonishing how we went from double digits billions to triple digits billions to high triple digits in the last 5 years. And that is the power of Africa, of Nigeria, of the business. While people see holes, I just see donuts, man. And that's why I came. So tourism in Africa is different from the rest of the world, but it's full of opportunities that you cannot even get anywhere else in the world. Nigeria, for instance, have more local passengers than we have international, but the international passengers still continue to fly. 40% of our customers go to London, so it's a very easy sell. Like, it's not like when you sell, our business is in the UK now. And when you look at the UK business, you see people fly London to Italy, London to France, Paris, and you see all these regional flights that we typically don't see at scale. Our consumers are simpler than the consumers there. They don't even complain. Half of what the airlines do in Nigeria will be a lawsuit in America. Like, yes. So again, when people complain about Africa, I'm not one of those, but I see opportunities here. I see the opportunity to take things from where they are and move things forward and do things better. And that's why I'm always excited about Africa.
Like that, you see fire, you see opportunity.
Yes.
I always say, when I'm talking to my friends, I always say that, you can't come up with solutions if there are no problems.
Actually, you get fire when the problems end.
Exactly.
There's no job when there's no problem. If there is no organization to lead and direct, and there's no crisis, you don't need a CEO. If there's no new product, there's no marketing, right?
Yeah.
There's jobs are created because somebody has created the problem and we need to solve it. Whether it's an opportunity, we need to go after it. I believe the day that there's no problem, I get fired. Like, I lose my job, I lose everything, right? I have to retire, right? Or the day I can't solve them anymore. I'm close to retirement, by the way.
You are?
Yeah. I'm like 15 years away from retirement.
Okay, 15 is still a good number.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Yeah,
It's still good. Yeah.
But I'm gonna retire early if the money comes in.
The money is already coming in.
Yeah, maybe
the lion.
Not as much as I want. I want to own. I want to have a yacht on the Lagos water. That I go to on weekends. Like, a standard yacht, maybe 150-foot yacht. That I can go on week. I don't have that yet, so money hasn't come yet.
It hasn't come. Okay, if you say so,
still
Bayo. If you say so.
We're still chasing.
Interesting. I think looking through your lens, when you say donut and whole, and then when you talk about solution and problems, Wakanow, from what we know or we have heard, you've expanded into 23 countries now. From
30 to correct.
Oh, 30. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we are somewhere behind.
Yeah, it's okay. That was as of yesterday.
Okay, and all this has been under your leadership.
Yeah.
We'd just like to know, what was in your toughest, decision, or maybe just a few of them in the earlier days, that you would say that you had to make as a CEO, and how do you think he has influenced your growth trajectory right now?
Toughest decisions is always letting people go for me. And I do it more often than I would like to. but it's always tough for me. Emotionally, it's always tough because I just don't think about the individual. I'm a very emotional being also, right? Which is very funny that I'm a lion, but I'm very emotional also, because I think about the lives behind the person that you have to let go. Because you see, building a team, I told my team this: we're not family members. We're a team. A team requires you to have a set of skill sets within the team that complement each other, that make the team formidable. And oftentimes you discover that you have people that have great skills, but they don't fit into the team. Or you discover there are people that fit into the team that don't have the necessary skills to be on the team. It's like a two-edged sword. You like the person, but you've just found out that it doesn't quite work. It doesn't just quite work. We get it. You're a great person. I have to let you go. It's always a tough decision for me. It's that balance between, can I teach this person, and you find that you can't, or you don't even have the bandwidth to teach. Because sometimes the skill set that they need, maybe I have it, and I have to hold hands, but I don't have the bandwidth. Because as we grow in business, you find that as leaders, your time becomes shorter and shorter, so does your patience. And recognizing that, right, was tough. Another thing that was tough is to recognize that I don't do the work. You see, I was an Excel guru. Oh God, I used to work in finance. I worked large data. I used to work with Alteryx. I used to work with DB databases. I used to work databases. Used to code in SQL. Used to write SQL to pull my data. I used to run scripts. Used to do VBA. Used to do all types of stuff back in my days, right? And then as I get into corporate, as I get into leadership, I find out that I can't do those things again because I don't have the time. And then I have to trust somebody else because I've always been a doer, right? Always been a doer, always been in the front line. I know that. I know my wife is in the studio. She'll tell you, I'll come home and I'll be like, man, I wrote this formula today. It was amazing. I can tell the distance between this store and that store. And then I found that I have to now tell people what I want, and I have to let them go do it for me, and then bring that information back was tough. And I have to trust them that the information they are giving me is accurate. And I have to make decisions based on that. For anyone that is growing up in that career that is a doer, they will recognize that as they go up in life, and I'm telling them now, it's coming. It's tough. Oh God, it's tough. Emotionally very tough. More than I can describe, because again, you then have to trust others. Mm-hmm. And then as you grow higher, you then recognize that you're not the most important person in your organization. You see that frontline staff, that security man, the security man can lock the gate, padlock, and go home. And your entire staff will not be able to access the building. Mm-hmm. And that day you can lose half your revenue because one security man locked the door. Oh, it was tough for me. It was tough. I know people will say, "Oh, wow, that's not what tough is." But mentally, just to think that you've lost control. Yeah. That I've always had in my career that I didn't have anymore was tough for me in my early days.
I mean, I think it's interesting that you mentioned these 2 points, right? Because I see the bridge connecting both of them. First is, you have to let people go that don't fit in, whether it is, and then you have to trust people to do certain things that you have ordinarily done yourself. Now, if you left people that don't fit in to do what needs to be done,
yes,
then the end goal doesn't. So,
and the connection between that is so critical because oftentimes, we complain about someone not doing their jobs or anything because one bad apple will rotten the bunch. And I mean, is that security man? You find out that security man is always sleeping on duty or is always disappearing. And then you entrust him with the key to the place. Then one day he locks the place and then he leaves. You must recognize that once you see failure, you must eliminate failure. You must just go understand the cause of the failure. Is it a one-time thing? Is it a behavioral thing? Is it a reoccurring thing? If it's a reoccurring thing, you eliminate. No emotions. But behind the scenes, as humans, you then think about the lives that you're impacting. It's good for the business. You're making the right call. But then emotionally, you then think about the lives that you're also impacting. The wife or the husband or the children that depend on that income that they get from you to go live their life, get impacted. And I always say behind each individual is about 4 people. 2 direct, 2 indirect. Somebody that they are giving money to, aged parents, But you have to do that in business, and because at the end of the day, you have an organization to run and you have other people to worry about. That if you let that person go lock everybody out, I will lose half a day revenue that I now can't pay salaries to all my staff, then it impacts us. And that's why you must make that call very early, and it's tough for me. Early in my career was tough. It's still not easy, but it's getting easier now because I just know that it's part of life.
And I think there's been a lot of conversation around being kind versus being nice.
I am very kind. I am not very nice.
I was about to say that.
I am not. Actually, somebody said it in the office recently, and I am very kind. I am the kindest individual. I have a lot of human feelings. I feel for humanity, yesterday we're driving, I saw somebody's car, I saw a lady's car stop on the highway, and I came out of my car, and I came out of my car to go help. My security was like, should I come? I said, no, let me just go take care of it, because again, that's humanity. That's because he's a damsel in distress, right? Like she was on the middle of like Lekki Ekpeto. She didn't park on the right side of the highway, she parked on the left. So cars were avoiding her, and she was struggling. I see her holding her head. She didn't know what to do. I felt bad. That's humanity. We must all have humanity. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us Nigerians. That's what makes us Africans. That's what makes us. And if you're aspiring for heaven,
Maybe you should step closer.
And maybe you can count as brownie points in heaven. Just brownie points.
You know something you mentioned earlier. Sometimes letting people go doesn't mean that they're bad.
No.
Yeah. You might let some people who have some soft skills or who are good people go. They just don't fit
not good for the business. They're not the right fit.
It's an army.
Yeah.
It's an army. In the army, they call it watch by six, right? In the US Army, they call it watch by six. Each military man must be able to watch the other guy's six, right? 6 is your back, right? Just think about it, the clock, right? That's your back. So the other guy is protecting your back. And if the guy that you have has a center point, I can only face 12. He's a good guy. He can shoot well. He can aim well, but he can't face 6. He can't protect your 6. He's a great guy, great guy, but he can't protect your 6. You have to remove them.
Absolutely.
Because you die from your 6 being exposed.
Absolutely.
I've seen great folks that have bad attitude. Great worker, can get stuff done, but nobody wants to work with them. I've seen people that they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk.
They don't walk the walk.
Oh, they can. As you go up in leadership, those are things that you have to be careful about, because all you hear is talk. They sit down in meetings and they'll be giving you Aspire Lamba, and be telling you about so we went and did this strategic initiative, big English. Me, Bayo, I'll say show me. Don't tell me.
The results.
Show me. Oh, our number 5 principle is results is everything.
Absolutely.
So as leader, I say show me, and then they show you, and they can say, actually, and then you have to let them go. So it doesn't mean they are bad people. Sometimes, and I will say this without no doubt in my mind, sometimes people need to go through that to recognize that they have a gap, and that they can go back and fix that gap. I've gone through it. I've never been quite fired, but I had instances where they put me on PIP, because at the earlier on in my career, and that was the turning point of my career that made me a lion, because I said to myself, no, I'm better than this. I'm going to turn this around, and I did. That's why you must give employees that have the chance a PIP, give them a chance to learn, give them a chance to improve, give them feedback, regular feedback. Hopefully they can decide. But there's some things that I just draw the line. If employees that lie, employees that steal, employees that do things like that, then you draw the line. That's a behavior that you can't correct.
So let's go back and talk about tourism.
Yes,
right?
please.
Just before you came in, Chima was saying, this should be an interesting segment, because it's travels, it's enjoyment. And when people think tourism, they think luxury.
Yes.
Right? So in your opinion, how is tourism fitting into the economic activity, helping to create jobs? And Wakanow as an entity, how do you think you're also contributing to that?
We've done work, but we've not done the complete work of bringing tourism online. You see, we've done the work of bringing flights and hotels online, but not the work of bringing the entire tourism online. The word tourism comes from tour. Tour is taking an adventure, right? And when I meet people, I say, when was the last time you took a cruise on Lagos water on the lagoon? When was the last time you went fishing in Lagos and you went to the deep sea or the SPMs and went to fish? You probably never done it.
Never, actually.
Fishing, no?
Never.
It goes back to the point, is oftentimes we think that tourism is, we pass through the Lekki Conservation Center to come here. I've never been there. Why? You see, tourism is about experiencing, selling experiences or exposing experiences to people. People fly from all over the world to go watch the migration of animals in the name of tourism. People fly from all over the world to go climb a rock in the name of tourism. But what happens is that we've monetized the activity of the mobility to get there. We've not done a good job of taking tourism itself online, which is the experience. We went to a restaurant recently that does a Brazilian steakhouse, that does unlimited meat in Lagos. I'd never been. My kids insisted that they're visiting, so they insisted that they want to go and eat all you can eat meat. But we found some place and we went there. It was amazing. There were more foreigners there than locals. Yes, tourism is broad. There is a lot to do in tourism. There was a Durban festival that happened in Ilorin. That's tourism. I watched the videos and I was intrigued. There is a masquerade festival somewhere in Owerri, outside of Owerri, that we support. It's a masquerade festival, right? There's the Calabar festival that happens every year. There is the Dirty December, the going to clubbing in Lagos. That's an experience that we need to sell. And again, and it goes back to the opportunity that exists in Africa and Nigeria. That tourism goes beyond the luxury part of flying or taking a boat or doing the very expensive thing. How do we sell more experiences in tourism is the next frontier of how we take people to experience our culture and take our culture and export our culture. Because I think tourism is not luxury. Tourism is something that everybody deserves to experience at least one time in their life. Or to go experience life, to go see other culture, to go watch other folks do things that they've never seen before. And those are the things that Wakanow needs to continue to be on the forefront of monetizing and selling, of course. That's how we
Okay. So that's quite an interesting viewpoint. And I do agree with you. There's a lot more that we can do. When we think of resting, most of the time, we think of going on vacation. And when we think vacation, it has to be outside the country. If you see someone saying, I'm going on vacation, it's likely outside the country. But I know that you're also behind the Wave Beach.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Wave Beach was an accident. I got into that business by accident. They gave me the land. The story is public, and I did invest in it. We attract about 10,000 people every week to that beach stretch, and that is pure tourism. What are they coming there to do? To see water roll. That's tourism. That's things that people sell. You could surf in that water. You could get surfers and surf in that water. So, so we've since expanded Wave Beach. We have Athena Beach. We have the family park. We have 2 beach houses. We have an event center that overlooks the sea that people can get married. The pictures are always amazing and glamorous because you get to see the sea in the background of your picture. Especially when you take it before sunset. You see the sun come down and then you see, through the glass, you see, you can see the couple in the middle. I have some pictures online that me and my wife even did a photo shoot there where we took a picture like that, just to see, because it's beautiful and that's tourism. And because I'm in the travel space, it was a no-brainer for me to kind of say, what, I'll make this investment. I did the investment and it's great. And what I'm always enthused about is how folks use the facility, how they come and use it, how they do. I'm always very curious on, because I live part of my life abroad, so there's some of the things that I look at the water, I'm like, I'm not putting my leg in this water, but people come from far and wide and jump into the water, jump all the way. Even my children, they are excited to put their feet in it, right? They, and I watch how they use the facility. They come there. We have a woman that sells amala there. We call her Bowls. Our business is called Bowls, and she will come. Literally, right? People will come literally, buy the amala and go sit in front of the water and say, I'm chopping life. I am now doing my relaxation because I can sit in front, I can see water roll, order a bottle of beer, right? Or a can of beer rather, and have great amala. And then after the guy does that, he will lie down on our beach bed and he will pass out. You know, that man will probably live longer than a lot of people in the hustle and bustle of Lagos life. Because he has just figured out that thing that doesn't cost a lot. It's not up to a flight ticket to do that. It's not up to a flight ticket to go anywhere. But he found out that place that he can come. I have people that just come bring their laptop, sit down across the water, and just sit down and just have a zen moment.
Enjoy the peace.
And enjoy the peace. Especially during the week when we play no music. They just come and enjoy the silence. We have no music Mondays and Tuesdays for a reason where people can just come and enjoy the peace. And again, that's tourism. That's creating more for tourism. And that's why the opportunity of tourism continues to be enormous. Enormous.
Shima, we need to visit soon.
Definitely.
Definitely.
You know I'm a salesman, right?
I know, you sold it. Exactly, me too.
You sold it. Just listening to you and, hearing the opportunity, listening to the Amala story, or just the person who comes with their laptop to, chill. Not even if you, because what opportunities, what tourism opportunities you think that the younger Nigerian founders are missing in Nigeria right now, as it were?
Let me see if I can quote my 2023 sale number. So that's far enough, is in the past. 221 billion was sold directly by Wakanow Nigeria. And this was the sale that does not include the things that we buy from third-party vendors abroad. This is just flights. 221 B. That's 2023. We've grown outside of that.
That's huge.
Now, in this same country where people tell me there's no money, that's how much we sell. Of course, we make a fraction of that as profit. But the point I'm trying to make is, you see, technology is only an enhancement to commerce on the e-commerce side. Technology is an enhancement for something that we do on the physical. I would encourage every entrepreneur to continue to look at the things that technology can enhance on the tourism side. There is a lot. I just talked about, there is no platform. If there was one, it's not stable, it comes back in December. There are days where we want to go out. We really want to go out. I want to go out party. And I need someone to tell me where it's popping. We had that in America, where you can open the app and you can see things to do. No, none. And people discount that. The weekend economy in Lagos is 40 billion naira every single weekend spent on Owambe parties, weddings, naming, ceremonies, name it. 40 billion in Lagos is spent every weekend.